Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen on the platform.
Good afternoon, sir.
I want to hear your voice if I'm the live. Very, very good. I'm seeing 34 out of 60 or so.
Good afternoon, sir.
So we put on the platform that the lecture has started. Who is doing that on our behalf? Okay, so once we are here, for those of you that are here, whilst waiting for others, can we, where did we get to learn, please?
The question again, please.
Where did we get to last time? What's like before the Easter, before the holiday? Where did we get to?
I think that we were going to the role of a procurement officer.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
I think we were also at being ethical.
Yes.
Being ethical.
Oh, ethical.
Hello, sir.
Being ethical. That's not very, yes. Yeah.
Hello, sir. Sir, please, can you hear me?
Yeah, lady, let me hear you.
Okay, we
I
looked
can hear
at
you, so speak. Let me hear.
okay. We looked at procurement environment.
Oh, your line is not good.
Hello, sir.
Procurement environment.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We made mention of two types, that is internal and external procurement environment. And you gave us a topic that we'll be treating today, that is procurement and digital transformation.
Okay. Okay. So you see, we need to be careful and then be jotting, have just an exercise book, not a notebook, right? An exercise book for each course. Okay, and then be jotting some of these things. Don't rely on the slides alone. I said that from the beginning. How come one class and then we are hearing different areas that we got to, which is not good. It is not too good at all. So please let's jot something. Let's jot something because we are workers and we don't have much time to read. We don't have much time to research, do our own readings and explore more areas after the lecturer has done his. We don't do that. So at least once you don't do that, the slides only is a PowerPoint presentation that most of the lecturers are doing. And as they are in points, sometimes you will not be able to remember some of the points, explanation that were given to the points. And so the best thing is to make sure you jot yourself, jot down something. So how can we go to different places? Do you agree with the last speaker, the lady? Yes, please. Do you agree with her? Is that what you go to? I believe that's what we go to.
Yes, please.
So now that I'm getting voices confirming what the lady said, first lady said, you're going to continue that. Yeah, I believe it is so. I believe it is so. Procurement environment. We were done with the procurement environment, and we discussed the two environments. I'm sure. So we have two: the internal and external. The internal procurement environment looked at the size and the complexity of organizations, okay, and then develop policies and procedures for our procurement section, our department, procurement processes. Okay, so the size and complexity of the organization determines how much. My company is small. I have only 6 workers. Okay, so how would my procurement structure look like? The internal environment is such that you cannot have big number of people or large number of people in procurement. Okay, and we have another company we also have 6 staff like this, but if it depends on the organization, if other factors play, you realize that they have a well-structured, even though they're only 6, they have a well-structured procurement environment that with a good structure showing the roles and responsibility of every member regarding procurement activities in the organization. Okay, so we talk about the size and complexity. I think we discussed the nature of goods. Okay, also shows the procurement type of procurement environment we find ourselves in, the nature of goods. For instance, if we are dealing in gold, okay, we buy and supply gold. We buy, add value to the gold, and you supply. Okay, looking at the nature of this, we may have only one person in a department because it's a bit technical in nature, that you don't buy anything that is not pure gold. So you may have large numbers, but you have somebody trusted, somebody well-versed in it, somebody who is too technical and can develop specifications and make sure they meet the specifications. And there can be only one person. So the nature of goods is also an issue when it comes to the internal environment, the organizational structure of procurement systems. Regulatory requirements, technological, and communication systems. The regulatory requirements or compliance systems that's in place also affect the structure of the organization. Now, we may be, for now, be working for a private organization. So you have the policy of that private organization's procurement structure in place. Now, when you move, you shift job, okay, you move to another job, and then that job seems to be a public procurement, public institution. That's an institution belonging to the government. Your system also changed because with that system, you are using Procurement Act. Okay, the public entities often are under Procurement Act, and they use the procurement system. No, the private organization may not look at your Procurement Act because they find some things which are not aligned to their systems. Okay, and then we have technological and communication systems that is in place. Now, most procurement departments are moving from the manual systems whereby paperwork have been used for the years. Okay, and nowadays they are using the electronic systems. So everything is electronic. You have electronic tendering, electronic auction, electronic evaluation, and so on and so forth. So once data have been processed, you key in this data, and then the system generates, selects, and then even monitor suppliers. Okay, they generate supplies. I mean, they pick supplies from the system, and then once tenders are submitted, evaluations are done through the electronic systems, and so human manipulations are not much. Other one is zero, close to zero. Okay, so human cannot manipulate, and that is when technological and then other communication systems are in use. It affects the structure of the procurement. Sometimes you see, some organizations that I work, I think I mentioned last time that the stores department was having a number of 27 workers, stores, only stores. And now with procurement and other systems in place, it must reduce. I don't know for now, but it must reduce maybe for 9 or 7 because of the electronic, the technological, the other things that, so everything is ye, okay? Then the next one is the philosophy. Okay, the philosophy that is underpinning the behavior and then the structure, the establishment and what have you of the organization. Now, if these philosophies are to come to play, you realize that it has influence on the procurement structure and the activities, the processes of the procurement. Philosophy. And the culture. Culture is defined as the way we do things here. Okay, the way we do things here. And sometimes maybe even in the same public institutions, you are being guided to be the compliant, Procurement Act compliant. Yet the culture sometimes, the different cultures that we have influence sometimes the procurement activities. If you go to procurement, the procurement activities being undertaken by Ministry of Health, it may be different from that of Ministry of Finance due to what culture, even though they are being controlled or being influenced by the Act. Sometimes the way they do things, they affect even the interpretation of the law, the Act, and the processes. They do it, shift it in such a way that it will meet their requirements. Okay, so auditors go there to audit them all right, and they defend themselves that this is the way we do things here. Sometimes the culture, okay, of the organization also impacts procurement activities of the organization. The availability of skills and technology. Availability here, I'll make it the availability of what? Professionals. Okay, in some organizations, procurement have been hijacked by some managers from some departments, especially technical organizations like the mining, they want their procurement person to be a mining mechanical engineer or electrical engineer who is well versed in the items that they use in the organization. Now, when it is so, okay, the twins, they may not do what we, the professional people, will say yes, right, to be done. But they will justify and make sure they bulldoze their way through. And that is what I always talk against. If you're an engineer and you want to do procurement, come do procurement course, have knowledge in it before you practice it. Procurement is not just intelligence, that you are intelligent and you do it. Anybody can do it. It's a profession, and it must be handled by people who are part of the profession. Because there are some things that you do wrong and you think it is right because it seems right. No. Okay. So I'm teaching some people now, about 12 students, about 10 of them are engineers. And I feel very happy, okay, when I teach them, because I made them understand that they should be in their lane. They have to collaborate with other procurement people to get specifications done, to just get so many things done. However, they cannot take charge of procurement activities. One day they'll put themselves into trouble. So the other issues that seems to be an internal procurement environment which shape the procurement structures as the budgetary and financial control systems. Now, some organizations, I should say most, have budget constraints. And so before the year ends, they control their budget systems with the few funds that they anticipate having. If they are in public institutions, they practice public procurement. I realize that they don't have much funds. They don't have also IGF. And so what they have is the small government subventions, so government monies that they give them that they use to procure. And so, well, if even you know the right thing to do, you will not be able to do it because of lack of what? Budgetary support. And that is also an issue. Then management support, okay, and their innovation for procurement innovation, management support for procurement innovation. Now, some of us that started some years back, we had some challenges and we had to fight for procurement activities to be done. You have to go to meetings to defend any activity, any action that you take, it has to be defended. Okay, so it made procurement activities very difficult. Now, organizations that have management who are in the same class with us, like the human resource people are doing it, production people, engineering, they are all doing it now. So in our workplace, if you want to introduce something, it's not that difficult as compared to those days that we were practicing. Okay, the management support it, and then once they support the practices, they support where it is now, and then they get themselves committed or investing in these electronic systems, innovations, and what have you. So if you think something in your organization is derailing procurement activities, you can just let the organization know by suggesting to them to use some of these systems, electronic systems, electronic procurement, electronic auction, electronic tendering. Okay, evaluation is electronic, everything is electronic. And once the management gets it, they are with you. We also, if we didn't, we have to talk about the external environment. And each time we say the external environment are the factors that the organization has not much control. External environment. Those are the pestle, the factors. Pestle, what is pestle? P-S-T-E-E-L. What are those? P-S-T-E-E-L or P-S-T-E-L-E. What are they? What is pestle? Hello, am I online?
Yeah, sir, I think they are the environmental indicators that control any organization. I think they are the political, social, economical, technology. I forget the rest, but they are the environmental stance that controls any organization with their decision making, both long-term and short-term decisions that they make.
Very good. Very good. So let's try to establish what its full acronym means, stands for. First, the P is what? Political. Then, so let me hear you from the others. Oh, I think this one everybody knows it. I know you are at level 200, but first, the gentleman that spoke, continue to tell us what it stands for. P stands for political. E stands for what?
I think economic.
P stands for political.
Yes,
then
economic.
okay, pester. So E stands for what?
Economic.
S.
Economic.
S, social.
S is
Social,
what?
sir. Social.
Social.
S is social.
T is
T is what?
technological. Technological.
And then E, the second E is what?
Environmental. Doc, E is environmental. And the L is
Environmental.
legal.
Okay.
And legal.
Okay, so we have three E's. The third E is what? The economic and the environment. And then the third E. No, these are all external factors. And like I said, the external factors are those factors that the organization has not much control. Okay, so in our external environment, external procurement environment, we are being confronted with this. And sometimes some of these factors stifle our operational processes. They they affect our operations. Okay, so legal. Now we have procurement acts in place, procurement laws controlling the activities of the procurement people. Sometimes we want to do things fast, faster in a manner that will not create any shortages of materials in your organization. However, the procurement is asking you that if even when you tender, you should wait a minimum of 6 weeks before you open a tender. So if things are running out of stock, you have no power than to go by the Procurement Act. Okay, market conditions. These are our external things and that we don't have much control. The demand and supply, and the dominance. We have supplier dominant market, we have a buyer dominant market. Okay, and these are all beyond our control. If it's a supplier dominant market, okay, supplier has a control, and then they can hold material, the goods or stock, okay, and just to raise the prices of the few items that they introduce, like the OPEC, how they behave. They are supply dominant. There are some things that people or some suppliers have, and they have control. And so because they are dominating the market, they are controlling the market, it affects your work. Your budget says you should buy this $70. Now, because I'm not even talking about geopolitics, but because the oil producers have held stock without not pushing it into the market, the price will go to 80, 90, and it affects your budget. You cannot do what you're supposed to do for the year. You understand? So market conditions, supply and demand, and then the supply base, how we manage the supply base, the number of suppliers that we deal with in the various lines of procurement activities. Okay, then political and economic, geopolitics. Okay, and now looking at what's happening, supply chain activities are halted and they are being affected. The geopolitics that we have in the world. Then technological change. Now there's a change. So if you are not good like myself and a computer system, BBC, if you are BBC person like me, okay, you find it difficult to get yourself abreast with the EEs. And now everything is E. We have E procurement, E option, and just recently we have Ebola. The Ebola. You had Ebola. Everything is becoming E. So the Ebola that came to kill people are in one of the countries. And there's also E, electronic, but it doesn't stand for electronic anyway. It's Ebola disease. Anyway. Then social expectations and then sustainability pressures. Now, social expectation here, we mean the other stakeholders that we deal with, their stake, what the procurement systems. For instance, in some have a business in the country, they will tell you should employ 70% of the people from the country or from the village. And you can see that may not be your policy, may affect your policy, but since that's what the social people demand, that's what their demands are, you need to go by, and it affects it. Sometimes they'll ask you, you need to buy a percentage of your raw material from the surrounding villages. Meanwhile, the surrounding villages have, and then if the prices are high, or it is not meeting your quality requirements, and it affects the environment. Social. Sometimes there's the issue of child labor at work. Companies are not supposed to work with people on the field below the teen. And so it becomes an issue. If even you get a buyer of your product and they get to realize that this is what you are using, you are going contrary to the world's social rules and expectations, employing people below the working age, and that becomes an issue. Then procurement managers must scan both environment to anticipate what risk and opportunities. If you use the both environment, the both internal and then external environment to, and if, sorry, my battery is low. Give me a second. Okay, so procurement managers must scan both the internal and the external environment to see, okay, to predict, okay, to identify if indeed there's some risk or some opportunities ahead, and so we can work with. Now, this is another area that we're supposed to continue, and procurement and digital transformation. Procurement and digital transformation. Now, you just talked about it, that procurement is assuming some innovations, which when we are so serious as a company and we adopt, it's going to help us save costs. And those are the digital systems that I was talking about, electronic government procurement systems. Now, PPA has come out with a system that they call GANEPS. Okay, and it is established to reduce the manual paperwork and improve transparency. Honestly, we are all, now that I'm a supplier, okay, we are all learning, and then we can see with a little use of it for 2 or 3 years or 4 or so or more, we can see some improvement in the procurement systems, reducing manual systems to electronic systems. So here, even submission of tender, you do on the GANEPS, and then you don't need to carry paper to the companies. If it's tender, you can sit in your bosom. You can sit in your comfort zone, buy buy the tender document, and then once you pay on the GANEPS, you get the item, the tender document. You go through and submit your proposals still on the GANEP without going there, and then when the time comes, they evaluate it. When they evaluate, if you win, you win, because it is much more of electronic than manual, and the human interventions are minimal in such a way that the whole systems have been made transparent, and then so we are getting value for money. There's that fairness and all those principal or core procurement principles that we learned is being at work here now. So here now we have faster processes and reduced cycle time, faster processes. Audit trail are there. I think we learned last time documents that we need to prepare to run our procurement systems. Do you remember we learned those things? Do you remember those documents that we learned? Very good. Please read about them. I want you to read about it all, because I want you to master those documents. When the auditors come, those are the documents that they want to see. So if you are a good procurement person, you open a folder for any purchase that you make, and then let the document follow suit like this, the way I've arranged it. And then you give the document to them, you are free. Because everything piles up, okay? You populate the file documents, and then anything that he asks you to bring, submit, what is it, their document, you have the documents there. Now, so that is the digital transformation that you have. So the audit trail and the real-time data, the data is available for audit purposes. And so you can sleep as a procurement person. Those days, when they come, you go running around looking for files. And when the file is missing, they suspect you are intentionally hiding it somewhere because you have not done something right. Sorry. So it reduces human discretion. Yes.
Hello, sir. Sir, please,
yes, Ken, let's hear you.
Sir, please, now.
Yes, let's hear you.
That, yes, sir, please, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes, so sir, now that
I can hear you.
Okay, so now that
I can hear
we are moving away from the paperwork. Now there's GANEP, which is very good. But say, how sure are we that now that the supplier is not going to see what is happening behind what he has submitted? How sure, what is the assurance that whatever results we posted for him, number one, there's no collusion, and number two, there's no bureaucracy around it? Because even the face-to-face, there's problem, and now we are doing it online, and as Ghanaian as we are, so what is the assurance? Is there any assurance to all this that it will not happen? And this is the perfect way to go. Or there's still room for an improvement that the research can go into? Hello?
Okay. So, let's so much. I can hear you now.
Sir, did you hear
Can you
my
hear me
question?
now?
Sir, I can hear you.
Oh, yeah, I
can
hear
hear you.
very good, very good. So let me get on with it. Okay. So for room for improvement, yes, there's much room for, but it is better than the previous way. That people like Olu improvements. And I must confess, however, situations are better these days than before. Okay, because now everything is electronic. If you, the supplier, you know the processes and you go through the processes, you expect that at least if you won, the company will write to you. And so the system has been so transparent in such a way that stage of the tendering system where there's a problem. If there's a problem, you can find out either by writing or going on the GANEPS, going to see. Now, with the GANEPS, what happens is that you see all the suppliers that bid for the item. You see them. You see the company's name. And sometimes after opening, you see all amounts, all at the amounts of all the companies. So the companies will know. So if you make an inquiry, okay, you see all the companies that tendered and the values that they quoted. So you ask yourself, why is it that maybe your price may be lower than even the winner, but you were not selected? That's why you can query. So they are supposed to debrief you. Last time we explained what debriefing is. So that is why the companies are supposed to debrief you. Now on the GANEPS, you quoted 122,000. Somebody quoted 150, but he won, and that's why you have to probe. That's why you have to debrief by the company. So they have to tell you, yes, you quoted for 122. Somebody quoted 150 and he won because you did not submit this, because you failed to meet this. You failed to meet either your technical specification does not match up. Your computation, your price systems does not match up. All these ones, the machines will do that for you. And so after they've gone through and selected, they have to write to all the companies that were involved in the tendering, debriefing them for what they did not do right, so that next time they set up. Okay, so it is very important. And then everything is transparent. You don't need to go there, just go to the GANEPS, and then you see everything there after evaluation. And the evaluation is being done with small human manipulations. Okay, the human involvement is minimal this time, even though they can manipulate. I don't want to give you an example. Yeah, sometimes the manipulation can be done. Now, so the enhanced supplier access nationwide, reduce human discretion and corruption risk. Okay, audit trail and then real-time data ensured. Okay, so you read that there's this data transformation is indeed helping to reduce those corruptions and other things, helping to reduce to some extent. And just that Ghana political issues are ahead of us than any other thing. Now somebody can twist and turn figures, can do something else to manipulate the system, that somebody that is winning that they don't know, they will not be made to win. It's a common practice. It's a common practice. But at least it is getting minimized. It is getting minimal. So at least we should thank God about that. Now, what are some of the procurement and then value addition issues that come up with procurement? Yes.
Sir. Sorry, sir. Sir, please, as you rightly said, that there could be a way that somebody could manipulate. Can there be, because we are talking about technology and digitalization and all that, now we also have a digital system which can let suppliers listen to at least what is being opened, so that we will all have the fairness. They will have the fairness that, look, if it is, we are all doing an online tender opening. Is there something that can be done that let's do a digital tender opening that suppliers should be on the call, just as we are doing like this videos on, they open the electronic tenders, then we see the thing filly, and that this is the winner. Can that also be a remedy to make the thing more fair for suppliers? Or it's
Yeah.
not a way, it's not a place that they have gone into and we can research into it.
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, there have been some form of transparency. No, we talked about transparency as part of the core principles of procurement. Transparency, value for money, and all those things. Okay, we talked about it. And like I said, in fact, for some of us who practiced those days in the sort of 2000s and 2000s, okay, you realize that as compared to those days, for transparency is becoming an issue. Okay, the system is making the entire thing transparent. Now, for instance, if they are open those days, even now, some companies who are not complying with that, what they do is that you are supposed to invite all the people who are participating in the tender, those who have submitted their tender, for you to appraise or evaluate. Now, you are invited to the opening of the tender. Even after you are invited, you realize that your figure may be the lowest. They will tell you it is not the lowest price that wins it. So they use other technicalities. Okay, the Ghana systems evaluation look at certain technicalities. Okay, and they've given weight to price, delivery, and other things. So the system is generated, and then once they key in those things, that's why they don't even key in. Once you submit, it is in the system there. Now, the procurement people cannot have access to see you. If even you go there yourself, you see that 2 people have submitted. They've written 2 suppliers, 2 companies have submitted, 4 companies have submitted. Okay, but you will not have access. Even the procurement people, even the people at the PPO will not have access until the deadline comes, and then it opens automatically. Once they open the tender, the evaluation too is done, okay, using figures and other things to evaluate. And so that's where, to me, to some extent, I say there's some improvement which we need to embrace. But like I said, there's more room for improvement. So long as a few people can manipulate some things, there should be more room for improvement. Okay, so when we're doing the core principles of procurement, I made mention that if all these core principles are managed well in the organization, the ethical, the transparency, the value for money, they all end in value for money. Okay, they all end in value for money. Once you do fairness, transparency, and everything, okay, you get the right material, and there's a value for money. And then you have explained value for money as you getting the right products with the right value as compared to the cost of it. So getting higher value for a reduced price, a reduced cost, because of the core principles that you have managed well. So purchasing in any organization must add value. And how do we do that? By doing cost reduction. I believe if I ask each one of you, and I give you this point, you should be able to explain how procurement people first reduce cost. Now, those days when you're going to do procurement, they say, oh, why do you want to go? And people are doing accounting, people are doing this, and you're going to do procurement. Sometimes we needed to stand on our grounds to explain why we are going to do procurement. Now, they didn't know. Some people, some other professions don't know how we save cost, how we add value. Okay, we add value by saving cost reduction, or reducing cost, obtaining same goods and services for less cost. So sometimes some of the students that I teach call me, say, do you know what's happening in my company? I said, what is it? Some people go out there, and Akyea is very often, very, very, very often. I can mention so many companies, so many organizations, especially the public ones, that is happening there. What is happening there? That some people, they go and collect invoices, and then they ask us to process. So I asked them, you have learned procurement. The other department, maybe production needs something. They leave their work and go and then look for invoices. Source for the item. Whilst you are there, let them do. So when they bring the invoice, what do you do? So you have no option to process. No, if you do that, you are not a procurement person. He went for a specification. He went for an item with a specification. I believe this time we want a specification. And then the item, the supplier quoted 70 Ghana cedis. With the same specification, proof to the user department that with the same specification, you can get it at 50 Ghana cedis or 55 Ghana cedis or 65 Ghana cedis. And that 5 cedis is a savings that you have made for the company. So once they bring you invoice, leave your desk, leave your room, office, go. And then with the same specification, make sure you get a better deal. So you will end up not buying from his supplier. The thing will come, and then it's the right quality, exactly the right quality. Sometimes they will ask, they will call the supplier, has the procurement people come there because I asked them to bring check and money to come and take the item. So no, they have not come here, but they have supplied the items. Yes, if he goes back to investigate, he realized that what he bought for 70 cedis, he likes it. Once you have delivered to them, they are okay. Meanwhile, the item was 65 from a different source. That's what we need to do. What do we do to save costs? Okay, in the supply chain, not only pricing, we work on the suppliers in the chain. Which supplier do you have? They've been bringing the same items at this cost because they don't have the idea of doing this, adding this, doing that. Okay, so once you investigate the suppliers, the way of production. Sometimes they are overusing some other things. They are overheating, over freezing. I mean, doing something that's making it so expensive. So you are at your effort of going out there to help the supplier to reduce costs at this level will enhance on yours as well. Because this is somebody's output, is our input. A supplier's output is we, the procurement, our input. So whatever they are bringing in, now if they are bringing 7 and we buy 10 cedis, now through your effort, they are bringing 9 and for the same price. So there should be a means or way of what? Of achieving value for money. Okay. Number 2, the service improvement and additional service benefits for same cost. Service improvement. Okay. Now we are acquiring or buying services. I believe in those services at this stage. Can somebody give me an example of service that we will procure? Who can tell me? Yeah.
Sir.
Yes, sir. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
For instance, free service whilst the warranty still lasts for any product you're buying. Like servicing the product time to time, that's if it needs servicing for free.
For free.
Yeah.
Very good.
Like as part of package.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So we need to improve upon the services that we are rendering, the service aspect of for our production. Okay, and save costs. The little savings that you make goes a long way in the multiplier effect to get more money for investment. And that's what we are supposed to do. Okay, so for the same cost, we are getting more services. Now, if you even on the product, service on the product, you have features on the product. For instance, you are buying computers. The computers are Bluetooth, and they are 7,000 Ghana cedis. Now, if you get you should have the edge of getting a computer that is the same 7 Ghana cedis, but with more services or with more features. Okay, so that instead of you buying different items, electronic items, using them in the organization, if you have those items put in one product, and then the price is highly subsidized by way of negotiation. I think I've seen your notes, you did negotiation and those things. Okay, it's going to help you. So we work on our services, and we work on the services of the supplier. So at the time we give out, people will ask, with all these services and you had it this much, this amount, it means you have what? Added value. Okay, so supply continuity must be achieved in a cost-effective way. Supplier continuity, the cost service way. Supply continuity is ensuring that suppliers deliver the items with much effort and with much changes in the terms and conditions of our contract. They continue to supply and supply and supply. Okay. Now, a lower total acquisition cost. Okay, acquisition cost, I think we'll do that soon. It is not only just the price that we are looking at. We are looking at the other costs, one of which is that acquisition cost. Okay, there should be no production downtimes. Okay, now production downtimes happen, and some of the causes are from us. If you go to the production room, the machines are not running. Chief executive pass, what's happening? The machines are not running. They say, no, we have run short of an item. We don't have a raw material. We don't have a packaging material. So who is supplying? That's why I made that statement that if you go to an organization and the procurement person there is it means he's not doing his work well. That if you go to an organization, the person is even popular than the CEO, it shows he's not doing his work. BPO, when procurement, when Mr. Asma, procurement, as when Mr. Asma, everything has run down, everything has a lot of issues. Who has causing this procurement? And who is the head of procurement? Mr. Asma. You become more popular than any other person there. Well, you should be somebody that people do not know. They want it, they get it. They want it, they get it. Okay. It's only that you sit. But you as a result of your inefficiencies, you are firing yourself gradually. So you lower to those acquisition costs, working acquisition costs one by one, and then see how best we can reduce each acquisition cost, just so that it will affect the total cost of supply. Now, delivery service. Not much stock in warehouse. So, interest that.
Hello, sir. Please, your line is breaking. I don't know. I'm sure. I don't know about my colleagues, but it's really breaking here.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
I can't.
You can hear me very good.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so please, where did you hear me up to? We're discussing importance of procurement and adding value addition in procurement. Where did you hear? Did I explain
Yes,
all this? Did I explain all this?
Sir, you were talking about the no production downtime.
No, sir.
Oh,
No production downtime.
Yeah.
oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. I don't know what is going on with this. Okay, so no production downtime. No production downtime when there's a shutdown in production, or low productivity in our production systems. What we do is that, what we know is that it causes the company to lose money. People have come to work, the engineers are here, the production people are here, there's no raw material. And because there's no raw material, there's a production downtime. Production downtime is either low or no, okay? But if it's low, it is because we don't have raw material, because we don't have parts and components, because there's something wrong with our system. And I'm saying that thing shouldn't come from procurement. Once procurement produce everything in that regard, there's no production downtime. Always production is at its peak. They want the tools, they are there. The maintenance and repairs, operating items, MRO items, they are there. They want whatever the raw materials, they are there. Semi-finished goods, they are in their full capacity. So if you have all these things, there's low or no production downtime. Production downtime is when we underproduce. We are supposed to produce. We produce about 100,000. So is this?
Oh.
Dinah. Lady Dinah, please mute yourself. I'm the host, so I can't mute it. Okay, so that is it. Then we also have reduced stock holding. Oh, I've explained all this. No name knows. Oh dear. Reduced stock holding. Now we have to hold stock. We need to hold stock for production. But other departments have their reasons for holding huge or large stock. And I was saying that production and marketing, these two departments, they want to see large stock, especially production, the engineers. They want to see the raw materials available in large quantities so that they think once those raw materials are available, they don't have problem. Okay, so anytime they want to produce, yes, there's different types of raw materials that we have and we keep them. So you see 1 year, 2 years, we still have we have enough stock that we hold, and that is stock procurement. Okay, the stock that we hold should be reduced to the minimum. Okay, we should have optimum stock. And I said optimum stock means buying not too much of the quantities that you need, or not too less or less than quantities that you need. Okay, so do some whatever calculation that you do. You use the lead time. You use so many factors to determine consumption rates, daily consumption rates, monthly consumption rate, and some other factors, using some formulas to determine the optimum quantities that you should keep. Now, I say optimum quantities are the quantities that are not supposed to be too many or too much, and then that are not supposed to be too less, that can cause production downtime. So production downtime is when we don't have stock, there's a problem, and so the productivity is either low or no. Okay. Now, we also look at improved supplier-based management. Quite serious. All these things have been explained. Okay, improved supplier base management. Now, if you talk of supplier base, some organizations, I said I was teaching in Kumasi, and I opened up a debate for 2 groups of students, and it was quite interesting. Majority of the people think that if you have so many suppliers is the best. No, we have moved away from that. In these days of value addition, you don't keep so many suppliers in the system. You rather reduce the suppliers base to a minimum few. Maybe for every line of business or every line of stock line, okay, or line of stock, you have only 1 or maximum of 2 suppliers. So initially what you do is that you open tenders and you invite the whole world to come and participate in the tender. And then you tell them, if you win, you are going to do framework contracts. Okay, framework contract I will explain some time to come. Now we are going to do framework contracts. Now it means we are going to give you order not for just once for supply, maybe either for 18 months or 24 months. You are going to supply for the 24 months, then we review the contract, either by inviting new fresh tenders again, or we continue to do business with you. Now, people think, some companies think, if you have so many suppliers, it's security. No. Rather, you are not secured. You are rather adding up to cost of what? Your cost of what? Acquisition. Now, if you have so many suppliers, you need time, talk to them, call them on phone, call them severally according to whatever they are responding to. And then these are all increased costs. They all increase costs. So after going through tender, you select the best 2. Sometimes out of 30 people, 30 suppliers, company that will come, you screen and screen and screen until you get the best 2 companies that can do the deal with you. And then you do a framework, sign a framework contract that they will supply either 1 year or 2 years or 1.5 years or 2.5 years. It depends on whatever, how the nature of the item, and then your company. Okay, so once you reduce the suppliers base, it means you have reduced the number of suppliers that proposed to do business with you, using so many factors. Some of them are just chaff. They don't come with any substantive thing to help. Okay, so what happens is that we improve our supply base by reducing the large suppliers that we have to a workable few suppliers who will not fail us. And if you do that, we save costs on communications, we save paperwork, we save costs on so many things. Now, acquire communications. Now, communication, because I'm explaining to the last one too. Once you want to add value, definitely we do so by improving communication. Now, once you have reduced the supply base, those days that we're using about 10, 12 suppliers, now it is only 2. So communication reduces. You have more time to do other things. You understand? And that's what we do to add value as procurement people. Then I was saying that these ones my colleague taught you. Is that not it? Dinah.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So we are going to skip this, but just I'll ask a few questions, okay, so that we can. Now we learned that we have the 5 traditional 5 rights, okay, because they are traditional because we use 5 rights. Gone are the days that we were doing procurement, but you see they are relative. If you say the right quality, okay, they say beauty, the right quality
Lights in the
here.
eye of the beholder.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but the right quality is in the hands of the user. What did they determine? How did they determine quality? What characteristics have they determined quality with? Okay, so the right quality is relative. What me, even in the same department, what one said, production department, 2 engineers, if you bring 2 items, and then they will tell you this is right quality, another person will say, no, that is the right quality. So it depends on so many ways. How do we determine the right quality? We determine the right quality by coming out first with our specifications. And then specification gives us the description and all those items, those old things that we can use to determine whether indeed we are getting the right quality. Now, I give this example that, for instance, right quality is not the durable item that you know. The right quality is not the most expensive item that you know. Right quality is a what? Fitness for purpose. Okay, right quality is a fitness for purpose. Get it? Okay, fitness for purpose. So it may be so expensive, it may be so catchy, beautiful, it may be so durable as we think, but that's not the right quality. Right quality is not a durable item. Now, for instance, if a mining company has a concession, okay, and the concession will take just 3 years. After 3 years, there was nothing in the soil to worry yourself to mine. And so we got that concession, and we need some pickups. Now, the right quality of pickup is not the most expensive pickup, because for 3 years, every pickup can run 3 years. So if you see a Chinese pickup, I don't know how they call it, is it Shanton or something? The pickup from China is able to perform within 3 years without any breakdown. So here, the right quality of the item, looking at the circumstances, it's not the expensive Isuzu, the expensive Toyota, the Ford pickup, and the what have you. It is that Shanton pickup from China, because for 3 years you don't need the item again. You don't need that pickup again. Let me give you another example. Now your company knows you are doing procurement. So the chief executive calls you. Oh, I learned you are doing procurement, so then you'll be the right person to organize something for me. You say, yes, sir. So come to my office. You go there, and then he puts 200 notes, 2 bundles. That will be 40,000. Then he asks you, please organize a cutlery set, organize plates and those things. I want to organize party for my 10-year-old child. And I want to invite people in the area, his friends. Okay, and I want to call people or invite people in the neighborhood to come and eat and dine with my child. And it gives you 200 bundles, 2 of them. Go and organize plates and other things for the party. And if you go out there, you see good, beautiful, expensive plates from Switzerland, from US, from Germany, very expensive, very beautiful plates. You see other plates around. Now, if you come home, come to the chief executive, the right plate to buy is the one that will fit the purpose. What is the purpose? They are going to use the plates. Children are going to eat, dance, break. Okay, so if you buy anything breakable that can cause it, you are in trouble. The CEO is in trouble in the area. So what is the best quality? The best quality is the disposable plate, and that one is about is it 10 cedis or no one? Is it 2 cedis or 5 cedis? That breakable, that disposable bowls, that white one. You understand? So in this situation, that bowl is more expensive. It's more quality than the ones breakable from China, from America, from Germany, and from other good countries, Switzerland, what have you. So why? The purpose is that the children are going to eat with it, dance, break, and then we don't want any situation that if they break and then they get hurt, it becomes news. So the best place to buy is the one that if even it falls, it doesn't cause any harm to anybody. So we need to understand quality, and I'm sure that's what my friend discussed with you. Quality is not anything that is the more durable, more, what is it? But quality is the fitness for purpose. You know, there was this confusion regarding quality. So Garvin came out with this, because people were given different definitions of quality, fitness for purpose, and then degree of which something is what fulfills the requirement. There are so many definitions. So Calvin came out with these dimensions, and he calls it 8 dimensions of quality. He says, whichever definition that you put across, at least you should fulfill this. But even still, it is even questionable. If it's quality, it should perform the function for which you bought it. The features should be right. There should be right features, not too many features that are not wanted. Features. So you buy a sound system, you want to have so many features, and those complex features, makes it so difficult to operate. Okay. Then reliability talks about how you expect it and how you get it. You want to use it for 3 years, and 3 years you can use it, and then you dispose of after 3 years. Conformance meeting your setup quality issues that will make the items quality. Durability means something that does not break, okay, and then it lasts long, but it is also debatable here. If the item is for a short period, it shouldn't be that durable, that will last long. It falls down and you pick it. Yes, that's what if after you need it for only 6 months. If somebody comes here, he says, no, let me go to the shop, buy my own plates, buy own bowls. I don't want to be eating from Ghanaian restaurant. Then you go, you are using it for only 2 months that you stay here. Then you go and buy those expensive that you determine as inverted commerce, durable items. No, that is not the purpose for which you came here for. Okay, that's not the purpose for which you bought the item. You use it for 2 months, and then it should be that lasting for 5 years. You are still no. That's not meeting the purpose for which you want it. Serviceability. Now, Gavin was trying to say that within the period of you using it, you should be able to service it. You should be able to service it. Okay, there are some things that are, as we call quality, but once they break down, You cannot service it. Then aesthetics. Aesthetics is the finer nature, okay, the beauty of the thing. Like Kojo Osafo Kantanka, initially he was having problem with this aesthetics because he produced and then they do not meet our requirement. They are quality all right. The TVs that they did from the beginning, from now, so they are still using it. Okay, but they were not appealing to the eyes. They were not beautiful. So even though they have those qualities, Calvin is saying that they should be a status. They should have that beauty that will let you have more appeal to the use of the item. Then perceived quality. Yes, in your mind, it should be quality. Okay, and that's why the Chinese are suffering. But trust me, Chinese have those items that are very of higher quality than what you think. But those ones are very expensive and they don't come to Ghana here. And that's why we see Chinese to be, their quality to be perceived not to be the right quality. And so I know my colleague discussed some of these things with you, and so it starts from developing specifications. Getting the right quality stuff from developing specifications. Specifications are the description of the items in a technical manner, okay? So describing the items in a technical manner in such a way that the other suppliers will understand, and then they will respond to it. So you specify what to buy, okay? And then use the right terminologies to specify. You specify to conform. I think you talked about conformance, and my friend talked to you about that. Performance, specifications, technical specifications, and quality. And we have this number of types of specifications that we use, okay? Now, look at it and tell me which ones that we cannot explain, because I'm sure my friend gave you all this. These are about the types or the examples, okay, the types of specification that we use in our procurement. Yeah, about 11 or so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, they're about 11. Which of these that we cannot explain? We want to skip this because my friend taught you this. But this is elements or principles. Yes, who can talk to me? Dinah. Which of these that you cannot explain? This is the number of ways that we give specification because of the confusion between the buyer and the supplier and even the user regarding quality. We say, hey, if you start the procurement, one of the things that should start the procurement with is the specification. Specification, development of what? Specification. And how do we come out with this specification? I say we have these types of specifications, the way to present, okay, so we can move on with the procurement activities. Now, it starts with performance specifications, technical specifications, functional specifications, physical properties. We have commercial standards, we have design specifications, engineering drawings, material and method of manufacturer specification, brand or trade name specifications. We have samples as specifications, and then market grades as specifications. I hope you can explain all in exams. You are not explaining, so I'm moving on. Or I'm not on air.
Sir, we can hear you.
I thought I was off because it keeps doing that. So I believe you can, assume you are asked to explain all this, you should be able to explain. Or if you select any of this, very good. Very good. I want you to respond. No, last time did I say that procurement specification development is not the sole responsibility of procurement people. Don't go out there and tell people that because you have done procurement, you should do specification. It is not a sole responsibility of the procurement officer or the procurement manager. It is a collaborative effort that both parties, okay, are supposed to contribute. Now, what you do is that in developing procurement specifications, you don't do that alone, please. I've said that 2 times now, and I believe I have to say the 3rd time before we move from this, because that is the challenge we have in practice. Now, if a user needs something, he needs to support you in developing specification. Why does he need to support you? He is going to use, he knows the types that he's been using, and he knows which one that is requesting for this time. Now he's supporting you. It means you are going to do the specification with him. Now, if you are doing your specification, you have your interest, and then the supplier also, the user department also has their interest. Your interest to make sure you get the best items, okay, but at the lowest price. Your interest is to make sure that you provide expert advice in procurement procedures and practices. Master, if you are going to choose this particular item, then you need to go change the procurement procedure because the price is high, or you need to change the procurement procedure because the procurement act doesn't permit us to do this. Okay, so you support the user, okay, in developing specification by introducing our procurement, what you know about procurement, and what you know will not fly if you don't draw the attention. So you provide what? Expert advice. Second, you advise them on the most appropriate type of specification and on any legal constraint. Okay. Now, what happens here is that we are working, especially public procurement people, those who are buying for government institutions or public institutions. We are working under the Procurement Act 663 914 as amended. Now, yes, indeed it is so. And so, what can we advise them on using the law? If maybe they are going in a contrary way, the law that is not permitting us to do that, okay? And it is now look at what's happening in the country. Over 81 billion Ghana cedis have been given to sole sourcing. 81 billion Ghana cedis. Sometimes when you hear this, and then people come to defend that it is correct. A civil engineer was on air defending it is correct, it's correct, it's correct. MPP will come and do the same thing, NDC will come and do the same thing. 81 billion within 1 year on sole sourcing. So do you know, I believe my friend made you understand what sole sourcing is. A situation where you will not compete. Then you bring your proposal and then they give it to you. We have 5 reasons for sole sourcing. 5 reasons that we can embark on sole sourcing. And roads is not part of it. Emergency, road is not an emergency. Road is not an emergency. If there's flood, if there's if there's a road has submerged out of maybe rains or something, and then they have to do it under emergency to connect maybe 2 regions or 2 areas. That one you can somehow say it is an emergency because people behind the seas cannot come or behind the rivers cannot come. But giving road contracts, and they say it is because it is emergency, the government's big push for roads, and so it's emergency. So you give people bring their quotations and then you just give award. Hey, are we safe in the country? And then people did it, and this is doing it. It's serious. So if they come and then as a procurement person, what we can do here is to advise them. No, the Procurement Act frowns on it. Let's do the right thing. Then we also provide access to existing specification. What specification that we have? What you are going to buy, you bought it before. Let's look at the previous specification. They don't have it. We have it in our records. We have it in our files. Okay, so we look at the specifications of the things that we bought previously and see why the difference, why they change. Okay, and then so we develop contractual clauses, okay, to complement the specification. Sometimes on specifications that we do, you need to develop some clauses so that anybody that picks it, if you think it should be so source, your clauses and other things that you put in will make us understand why you took that decision that you took. And the government says they should investigate. But as usual, MPP, NGG, and NDC, the government also you investigate, but certificate is from 81 billion Ghana cedis. You understand? So we also provide information obtained during the planning stage of procurement process. We provide information that was obtained from what? During the planning stage of, because the planning stage, we said we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do that. And so going by the specification, we procurement people have to help or complement the effort, because we are considering the planning stage, what we said we'll do. Okay. Now, I'm skipping this, but please, exams may come from these areas. Exams may come from these areas. Oh. My attention has been drawn that we have only 7 minutes. Okay, so the next one that we're going to look at is the right quantity. The right quantity. The right quantity. Now, if you really want to determine the right quantity, okay, we need to make reference to specific period. If it's the right quantity, are you buying for 1 year? Are we buying for 6 months? Are we buying for what quantity, what period? Okay, so sometimes if you don't put this into consideration, you buy as much as we can and you can justify it. Oh, we said, management says you should buy for 3 years. You buy something that will last for 3 years. It means you are not a company. You don't have sense. Something that you buy, that you use for 3 years, you buy all and keep. No, not at all. So the first thing that you need to consider is whether indeed you have considered the period of purchase. And so you can consider the period of purchase by indicating, by trying to identify what for each month, how many of what that you use. For a given period of time, how many of those items that we use. And that will help you to arrive at the quantities to buy. So you should consider the safety margin. The safety margin is the quantity that we put on top, like a buffer, so that even when they use what they determine that they will use, at least we have some small margin that before we get the next one, we have some quantity that can cushion us. Okay. And then you also have to consider the ordering and then the processing cost. Sometimes some items, the ordering cost is very expensive. Ordering cost is very expensive. I have some materials that are supplied to 37 military hospitals, okay, and UGMC hospitals. And they are reagents for chemicals. They are reagents for laboratory work. And when an order is given, it takes us a long while before the delivery is made, because the shelf life is very close, very short. And so what happens is that you see back and forth of our effort, okay, as well as the effort of our suppliers. And so the cost of ordering the item is it's very high. And then also the process, the lead time is also very long. So what do you do? Okay, in business, so there's a trade-off here. You need to balance the act. There's a trade-off. A trade-off here that means whatever that is going on, we can decide, but taking into consideration other things that we are losing. So we balance the act and see which ones that we can do and how much is it going to help the organization. You should also consider transportation costs when ordering the quantity, because sometimes going 2, 3, 4 times, if the one truck can go and charge half the price, why do you have to involve so many transport systems? Now, So because of this issue regarding quantity, okay, companies are guided by using these service levels. I believe he taught you. Okay, we have minimum orders quantity, we have reorder quantity level, and then we have maximum order quantity level. These are our service levels. We call them service level in inventory management. Now, please be jotting. I told you you have to be jotting. Even though your 2 hours is too short, so we have to speak faster than my normal voice, but at least you should be jotting something. Now, what are these service levels that we have? The first thing in the service level is the minimum order quantity. The minimum order quantity. Minimum. If you say something minimum, it means that figure or more. That figure or more. Now, if you set for each item in the warehouse, you need to set these service levels. For each item in the warehouse, we need to set these service levels. And so we have minimum order quantity. And the minimum order quantity is the quantity that the stock should not go below. So for instance, blue pens, you know how many people in the organization and how you use your blue pen. So you know the consumption rate. Now, taking into consideration the lead time and other factors, you need to set what a minimum order quantity that should not be low as we know. So if it is 300, you have set the order to be 300. It means you work in such a way that the item, after buying and you issuing it to the user department, it shouldn't go below 300. It's the minimum. It shouldn't go below 300 because it goes below 300, it means you are in trouble. So as you buy high quantities and as you issue out to the user department, as it goes piece by piece to other user department, what happens is that a time comes and you realize that the item is finishing. But we say when it's finishing, you shouldn't go below the minimum. And so the minimum is 300. You also set the reorder level. The reorder level is the level that when the quantity reaches, it triggers procurement action. The reorder level is a level that when the items reaches that quantity, it tells you start the procurement action, else to get finished and then you'll be in trouble. Okay, in the same manner as maximum order level. Maximum means the ceiling. It's a level that is set for that same item that the quantity should not go beyond. So if, for instance, the minimum order quantity is 300, the reorder level should be about like 800 plus 300, making 1,001. Okay, and then the maximum should be like 3,000. Okay, I'm just giving some figures. Now, what it means is that if it's the maximum is 3,000, it means don't buy beyond 3,000. The maximum, the highest you can buy is 3,000. So as you buy 3,000, you start issuing to the user department, and as you start using this, the quantities reduce. And as the quantity reduce, it reduced to a stage where we call reorder level. And we say reorder level can be what? 800. Did you say 800 or what? No, 300. Say 1,000.
800.
200. 800, very good. Okay, so the reorder level can be 800. It means when we use the item from 3,000, issuing it to various user departments. By the time they reach 800, it triggers what? Procurement action. It tells you, hey, it has reached reorder level. It means order again. So when you get to 800, okay, you order again and you order up to 3,000. So by the time the item comes from 800, it moves to the minimum order level to 300. And if it goes beyond, below 300, it means you are in serious trouble. Okay, so we set these service levels for you, procurement people, and for user and for stores people. And so that will guide for each item, and these levels is on every product. So if you go to your computer, what you can see, the name of the item, the code of the item, and then the service levels, the minimum order level, the reorder level, and the service, or the maximum order level. And then this one guides you, and so that you will not run out of stock, and then you don't overstock purchase. Some of these figures, we use factors like lead time. The lead time for all the items in your stores are different. And I believe we now understand lead time. The lead time for all the items in your stores are different. And so the lead time becomes a factor that you consider when you are dealing with the service levels. Okay, and then we also use consumption rates. The rate of consumption of all the items are not the same. You use blue pens more than the red pen. You use red pen more than green pen. Green pen is used by the auditors alone. So sometimes you buy one packet of 50 pieces of the big pen, you realize that it will take sometimes a year or 6 months before it gets finished, because it's used only by the audit department. Now red pen, some other department use it. Blue pen, everybody uses it. So consumption rate for all the items in the warehouse are different. Okay, so you are tired, and then the time is up. I know you're going to meet other lectures. So let's end here. And
Hello, sir.
again.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Please, can we get the slides? Because we don't have it, please.
Are you sure you don't have it? Are you sure, Venus, you don't have it? Okay.
Yes, sir. I don't know if my colleagues, because I don't have it.
Eunice,
Yes.
it's on our page.
We are
Class
supposed to
rep put it
upload
on our page.
Oh, okay. Please, if you
Yeah,
have it,
sir.
can you send it to me?
Yeah, I'll forward it on the page again.
Okay. Thank you.
So forgive me, I'll stand here. Now, one thing is that sometimes we keep changing. I'm not giving any excuse. No excuse will be acceptable. I'll keep changing slides and so on length. And so I've given you
Please, it has been shared on our page again.
I will still give the final. Okay. Oh,
We've shared it on the page again, the slides.
ask question. Just Mr. King, Eunice, and those voices that I heard